Tonight, what will a return to the office look like?
It's great, being back and seeing people out and about.
The city launches a campaign to help workplaces plan for a safe return to the office. The guidelines detailed in its new playbooks and how people are feeling about getting back at it. Plus,
this is exciting news, but we are not stopping there.
Almost 80% of adults in the province now have one dose of the COVID vaccine, and nearly half are fully immunized. The age group the government is now putting its focus on, and how. And
it's beyond disturbing. These people knew, they didn't act.
The mother of a girl found dead with her father in Milton files a lawsuit against Child Protective Services, alleging caseworkers failed to prevent the 4-year-old's death. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. The City of Toronto has launched a campaign to help encourage workers to return to the downtown core and to help businesses reopen safely. But experts say offices and office culture could change quite a bit from what they were like before the pandemic. Jessica Ng joins us live from University Avenue tonight. And Jessica, lots of offices right there by you. What are we learning about the post-pandemic workplace?
Well, close to 500,000 people usually work in the downtown core behind me. Now, as more people get vaccinated, it means that those people will start to return to the office. But studies suggest Canadians may not want to totally give up work from home when we're done with the pandemic and may instead opt for a hybrid option. And that can mean that the offices that you left in March of last year are very different than when you return.
Euphoria would be my description. It's great. Being back and seeing people out and about.
Grant Humes is the executive director of the Toronto Financial District BIA. Last week, he started going back into the office every day for part of the day. During the pandemic, his commute got a lot shorter.
I lived outside of the city in the 905, and my wife and I actually have bought a condo right downtown in the St. Lawrence Market area. And are really enjoying it. The city is certainly coming back to life.
His move is consistent with what many others working from home are looking for when they go back into the office. 20% of Canadians who answered a recent Angus Reid survey say they plan to continue working from home, and 44% say they'd like a hybrid office and home arrangement, equating to nearly 2/3 of them planning for work from home to be part of their new normal. Nearly 70% said they wanted their post-pandemic commute to clock in under 30 minutes. Hume's new commute, 7 minutes.
We know this area well, and it was always on our radar screen.
For those who have longer commutes,
we just need to make sure that 500,000+ people that commute into the downtown every day pretty well feel comfortable riding transit, finding ways of getting downtown.
But after 15 months and counting away from the office, how to safely reopen?
We're going to be living with this and doing all we can to keep things as safe as we can. But we're not going to be living in a world without COVID.
Mayor John Tory yesterday announced new reopening resources or playbooks for businesses as part of a campaign dubbed We're Ready Toronto.
It's things like rapid testing and then just the protocols we can put into our office buildings, how we're using elevators, how we're using our food court.
With guidance on enforcing masks, signage, and sanitation. The guides are available on the Trade Board's website. With nearly 1/3 of Canadians currently working from home, another concern is professional development. Many saying that it's stifled as a result of not having daily interactions with colleagues and supervisors. It is a particular concern for young professionals aged 30 and under. Experts I spoke with tonight say that getting back to the office is really going to be key for them, and that interpersonal growth is going to also help fuel the economic recovery. I'll send it back to you in studio now.
Thanks, Jessica. That's our Jessica Ng live for us tonight. The province has crossed a major milestone when it comes to vaccinations. More than half of all adults are now fully immunized against COVID-19, but the work is not done. Lorena Redekop has more on the province's strategy to ensure those who haven't gotten their shot yet do so.
They braved the conditions to get their vaccine on day one of a walk-in clinic at the Toronto Congress Centre.
If they had drop-ins for people, I think everybody would get it. Makes it easier.
Just walked in and done.
Done. It was perfect. It was the best thing ever.
The government wants to make it easier for more people to get their shot, as it announced more than half of all adults have both doses. 78% have one dose.
This is exciting news, but we are not stopping there.
But an age group the government wants to reach more is young adults. 67% have one dose. Part of the strategy, enlist social media influencers.
Now let's walk through the new guidelines from the Public Health Agency of Canada.
This science communicator already posts COVID facts online.
I think it's really important that we let them know why, even if you're at lower risk for severe outcomes from COVID, there still are a lot of benefits to you getting vaccinated.
We need that outreach.
This marketer loves the idea if it's done right.
This will not be effective if this is a government message and then some youthy influencer hops on at the end and says, cool, bro, get vaccinated. That's not going to work.
And he says it's not just about finding one person with millions of followers.
The real difference is going to happen when influencers with maybe a smaller reach but a much more profound, a deeper reach within their smaller communities are getting on board with the message.
Another piece that could increase vaccination rates, new data showing who's testing positive. In one recent month, out of more than 29,000 COVID cases, more than 83% of people were not vaccinated. More than 15% had either one dose or it was less than a week after dose 2. And just over 1% were fully vaccinated, considered breakthrough cases. Over the past 6 months, that gap is even bigger. Out of close to 400,000 cases, more than 96% of people were not vaccinated. Just 0.4% were fully vaccinated. Plus, the province is using one more way to get out the message to get your shot. Starting in the next few days, if you go to McDonald's, you'll come out with more than a burger and fries. This flyer will be added to bags, an attempt to increase vaccine confidence and bring on the cravings for two-dose immunity. Lorenda Redicop, CBC News, Toronto.
Family doctors have mostly been sidelined in Ontario's COVID-19 vaccination campaign. But now that reaching the unvaccinated is the biggest challenge, the province wants them to play a key role. Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley has more.
If you've had a shot of a COVID-19 vaccine, it's most likely been at a mass vaccination clinic like this. Or perhaps at a pharmacy. But one place where it's been next to impossible to get a COVID vaccination, your family doctor's office.
From the very beginning, family doctors across the province have been saying, please give us vaccines. We're expert at this. We want to do this. Our patients are telling us that they want to be vaccinated in office.
More than 16 million shots have gone into the arms of Ontarians during the COVID vaccination campaign. It's clear that no more than a fraction of those doses were allocated to family doctors, although the Health Ministry declined to provide specific numbers.
Physicians have been important throughout in the vaccination program, both in terms of their offices and in the mass vaccination clinics. They will continue to be even more important as we reach a steady state going forward.
The province is now turning to family doctors for help with the toughest phase of the campaign, reaching the unvaccinated.
Family doctors, primary care teams, these kinds of leaders in their communities are going to be crucial to getting as many people fully vaccinated as possible.
The province will soon give family physicians lists of their patients who have been vaccinated so that the doctors can contact the ones who haven't to try to find out why.
We're used to having these conversations with some of our patients that are a little more hesitant and really build their confidence in knowing, why it's important to be vaccinated, what to expect.
The growth in Ontarians getting their first dose of vaccine has slowed dramatically over the past month, and some 2 million people aged 12 and up remain unvaccinated. That means more than 20% of the population eligible for a shot has yet to get one. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
Nick Sternkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, it was rain and more rain today.
Yeah, we had special weather statements in effect across areas in the GTA. We also had some rainfall warnings for in excess of 50 millimeters of rain. Generally speaking, about 30 to 50 millimeters of rain fell through the day today. Now, I actually want to take you back in time here and show you the picture. It started mostly through the morning, and then this heavy, long-lasting band of rainfall moved through, kind of tapering off into the evening hours. So what can we expect heading through tonight and tomorrow? Well, still a few scattered showers, and then tomorrow morning generally dry, although what I am expecting to see is, again, scattered, not heavy, but scattered showers through the day tomorrow, and that's basically going to be the story. So generally cloudy skies. Saturday, though, actually kicks off a nice start to the weekend. So here's a look at your forecast through the next 24. Tonight, 17 degrees. The risk of a shower or thunderstorm through the later evening into the sort of early overnight period, and then tomorrow, kind of a dry start to the day, scattered showers, 22 degrees. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Nick.
You bet.
A funeral for the Toronto police officer killed in the line of duty last week will be held on Monday. Constable Jeffrey Northrup was killed in what police say was a deliberate act. He was run over in the parking garage under City Hall during an investigation. He is survived by his wife and 3 children. A public visitation will take place on Sunday in Thornhill. The funeral will take place Monday at BMO Field. Toronto police have released this video to help identify 3 suspects in a homicide investigation. Officers were called to Flemington Park near Vendome Place and Grenoble Drive last Friday. Police say 3 suspects walked up to the apartment building and opened fire. 32-year-old Siobhan Jones was killed in the lobby. 2 other people were also shot. Investigators are asking anyone who recognizes the suspects to contact them. And police are looking for this 16-year-old suspect wanted in connection with an attempted murder in Richmond Hill. Police allege Rishav Lal tried to shoot someone last Wednesday on Misty Well Drive in the Yonge and 19th Avenue area. If you spot him, police say do not approach him and call 911 immediately. The mother of a 4-year-old girl who was found dead with her father last February is suing the child welfare agency that was overseeing the family's custody case. Kira Kagan and her biological father were found dead at the base of the cliff at Rattlesnake Point Conservation Area. Kira's mother, Jennifer, says Jewish Child and Family Services was aware the father was exhibiting dangerous behavior but failed to act quickly enough to save her daughter. Chris Glover sat down with Jennifer Kagan today, and a warning, some of the details of this report may be disturbing.
It's shaken me to the core. My daughter should be, just a lovely association for me, but unfortunately, it's even hard to look at pictures and videos of her without breaking down.
Shaken but defiant to defend the legacy of her 4-year-old daughter, Kira, Jennifer Kagan says the child welfare agency handling her custody case was aware her ex-husband, Robin Brown, was dangerous and escalating.
The caseworker on the Friday before Kira was killed called us up and said, Mr. Brown has been exhibiting behavior consistent with a parent who kills a child, that he wants to harm you. It's very clear. But they did not act. They said, we want to launch a protection application. She said, but my supervisor said it could wait until Monday.
But the day before, Sunday, February 9th, 2020, Brown took Kira to Rattlesnake Point Conservation Area in Milton. That evening, when they didn't return, a police search found their 2 bodies at the base of the park's cliff.
I'm sick. It's beyond disturbing. Yeah, these people knew, they didn't act, and, this is something that, I have to live with for the rest of my life.
The coroner's report shows Kira's cause of death was blunt force head trauma, and Halton police identified multiple risk factors for domestic violence in Kira's father. So the case is now with the coroner's Domestic Violence Death Review Committee. Kagan's legal team included Jewish Child and Family Services in their civil suit, along with the individual caseworkers involved. The allegations have yet to be proven in court.
The very first question we're going to ask them is, why didn't you act faster? When you suspected a problem, why didn't you step in? Why did you let it go over the weekend?
In a statement, the Child Welfare Agency said due to confidentiality, they couldn't comment.
There needs to be accountability because they are failing other families. My daughter, Kira, is gone, and she was the light of our life. She did not deserve this. She deserved protection.
for her younger son who lost his big sister and her daughter taken so early she was just learning to write.
I just love to see her, her little handwriting.
Kagan is determined to keep Kira's memory alive to protect others. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
We have more on this story online, including why the Rattlesnake Point Conservation Area is included in the lawsuit. You can read more at cbc.ca/Toronto. Welcome back. Closing arguments began today in the trial of Nicholas Mills. The former Toronto teacher is facing charges in the death of 15-year-old Jeremiah Perry, who died on a class trip to Algonquin Park in 2017. Today, the defense argued that Mills, who organized the trip, should not be held to a higher standard than the average parent. Greg Ross has more.
Nicholas Mills' defense lawyer claimed while his client is not immune from criticism, his conduct was nowhere near criminal. In July of 2017, Mills organized a canoe trip to Algonquin Park with 33 students from 2 different schools, including C.W. Jeffries Institute. Mills is charged with criminal negligence causing death after one of those students, 15-year-old Jeremiah Perry, drowned. Defense lawyer Philip Campbell laid out a number of reasons why Mills, a former teacher at Perry's school, should not be found guilty. He claimed the Crown had not proven that Perry did not know how to swim. Campbell said, if Jeremiah could in fact swim, then Mr. Mills can't be guilty. Court had previously heard Perry failed a mandatory swim test held prior to the trip, as did 14 other students. Campbell disagreed with the Crown's claim that Mills was negligent for allowing those students to take part in the trip. He used examples of commercial outfitters and even the Boy Scouts as organizations that take minors on canoe trips without previously passing a swim test. Campbell said the Crown has not come close to proving that requiring only capable swimmers to go on a canoe trip is a societal norm or minimal standard for safety. During the trial, the Crown claimed that Mills' actions while organizing the trip did not meet the safety regulations outlined by OFIA, the Ontario Physical Activity Safety Standards in Education. But during closing arguments, defense attorney Campbell said OFIA regulations don't meet what should be considered reasonable standards for a trip like this. The Crown called no evidence from which you could infer that OFIA represents an industry standard against which Mr. Mills' departure can be appropriately measured, Campbell said. He also argued there were 4 certified lifeguards on the trip, and one of them was present when Perry drowned. He asked the judge to consider Mills' character, calling him a decent man, saying his views, his expertise, his practices, his ability to make sound judgments should not be marginalized by the fact that the Crown has charged him with an offense. The defense is expected to wrap up closing arguments tomorrow morning. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Black Lives Matter Canada is set to open a new 10,000 square foot space here in Toronto. It's for the Black community to meet, create, and organize. It will be called the Wild Seed Centre for Art and Activism. Earlier today, we spoke with Sandy Hudson, co-founder of the Toronto chapter of Black Lives Matter.
You know, we always wanted to have something like this. Way back when we started in 2014 and 2015, we had a lot of trouble finding space to do the type of work that we were doing, whether it was regular meeting space or coordinating our demonstrations or the events or community meetings that we wanted to have. And so we always had in the back of our mind that if we could build a space like this as soon as we could, we would. The feedback that we've been getting today has been so warm and lovely, so I'm feeling really, really great.
Hudson says the center, a 3-story building near College and Spadina, will have a dance floor, sound recording booth, event space, and a garden. The city is supporting the Wild Seed Centre by providing $250,000 for capital costs. And you are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, foggy and cloudy tonight. You can't really make out the CN Tower there. It will remain cloudy overnight. Currently, it is about 19 degrees downtown. Let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, we can expect more showers and unsettled weather in the coming days.
Yeah, it looks like we're expecting to see kind of unsettled weather really heading through the better part of next week. And essentially, if you look at a big picture, there's a big high pressure system that's out toward the Atlantic. And what that does is drive in these weather systems and kind of lock them in place over southern Ontario. And that's what we're going to see playing out coming up starting around Sunday and then into the better part of next week. It's going to keep temperatures sort of moderated. I mean, today was on the cooler side. 18 degrees is what we hit. We will get a little bit warmer than that, but again, unsettled weather in the forecast. In the near term, though, it's getting a little bit better. We've got, as I mentioned earlier, scattered showers for the morning, sort of the late morning into the early afternoon hours tomorrow. Good chance you're going to see them if you're outside, but not an all-day rain event. It clears out by tomorrow evening, and then Saturday looks pretty good if you've got outdoor plans. Mainly sunny skies to a mix of sun and cloud on Saturday. Sunday, though, we're watching for another system to push in, and this one here is basically going to bring with it kind of waves of rain showers over the next few days following Sunday. So that's kind of what we're looking at in the long-range forecast. In terms of tonight, 17 degrees through the overnight, fog patches developing down in southwestern Ontario. Still the risk of seeing a few scattered showers. Generally dry, though. Generally dry tomorrow as well. Mainly cloudy skies to a mix of sun and cloud. Highs in the low 20s, a little below seasonal for some areas there still. Not much to speak of in terms of humidity. For the Golden Horseshoe, we're looking at temperatures sitting around 16, 17 degrees. Fog patches there as well. And again, mainly cloudy skies. We do have a good chance of seeing isolated showers or even a thunderstorm through tomorrow. So long-range forecast looks like this, 22 degrees tomorrow. Saturday, pretty nice at 25 degrees. The chance of seeing a few showers on Sunday, certainly in the later afternoon, and then some unsettled weather as we head through the better part of next week. Kelda.
Thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Finally tonight, if you're afraid of heights, you may want to close your eyes. 4 German tightrope walkers have set a new world distance record for highlining. They crossed a 2.1-kilometer line in a U-shaped valley in the Swedish Arctic. The line was suspended at a height of 600 meters above ground. Now, highlining is a team sport, and the record is shared by all the members. The sun doesn't set at this time of year in the Swedish Arctic, so it gave the tightrope walkers more time to go for that record. Brave souls. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.